Okay, so we're looking at the key of C, just the raw fretboard, okay? And this is the fretboard in this box. I'm going to take the box away though, if I can. I'll take the box away. Because remember where the fretboard is, okay? So you can see it down here. There's no, these letters correspond to this situation down here, where this is your C string shape. Here's your A string shape. Here's your G string shape. It's just the bottom string, but it's a label for the bottom string. Remember, the bottom string is this. Okay? So keep in mind, because I trip over this all the time. Like every time I look at this particular chart, or this particular set of fretboards, I keep thinking this is the bottom string. It's not. The bottom string is 1 right there. Don't worry about whether it's 1 or 6. The bottom string is this E string right here. These are the labels for the bottom string. So we would start with 3, 4, 5, like that. C string shape, and then we go to an A string shape, 5, 6. Now notice we've got that G dot and that A dot right there. G dot here. Okay, A dot here. Okay, and then we go 6, 7 root for the G shape. So starting on that A dot, it's going to be here, 6, 7 root. 6, 7 root from the A dot, okay? And then we're going to be sharing that 7 root with the E string shape. 7 root 2 is going to start on the B dot. Whoa, we got a dot there, thank goodness. There it is. It's so easy, and that's your Locrian. Okay, let's warp it up. Remember that second to the top string, we have to warp it up. Like that, okay? I forgot. But that's okay. I'm comfortable with the warp, whether I can see the note labels or not. So that would be our E string. I've got the pick in my hand, and it's kind of like slowing me down a little bit with the mouse. And then we have 2, 3, 4. Now, do we have a dot there? We have a dot there. Okay, so there's 2 ways to do it. You could just reason it out. Oh, there's a dot there. Oh, I could see that's the third. Just remember that's the third. Okay, 3, 3, 4. Let's see, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I can do my D thing from there, right? Sure. But it's better to have a system, right? So we've talked about just generically where the dots are, and on the C, we could see that there's a dot on the E, a dot on the G, a dot on the A, and a dot on the B. Now I'm going to go back over to the discussion we have of the dot. It's the dot key of the dot scale degree and the surrounding string shape pairs. Okay, so this is the dot scale. All right, so we want to get this on the screen here. How small does it have to be? Remember, there's the dots. Okay, this is about as big as I can get it for now. I wish I could really get this bigger. You know what I'm saying? Draw this dot scale and get it bigger, like that. Okay, that kind of thing. And then we can zoom in on a little more. So here's our dots. Okay, the dot scale for the E note. Now notice that this is only for E guitar, just like your guitar. This is for your guitar, because we're getting into the system here. I consider I lucked out. I just lucked out. I'm getting into my juice now. I lucked out by choosing the dot note to be the third of the dot scale. I tried the other scales this morning. I tried them last night, and they don't work out to be a major scale. Since we want to be in a key, so we can use the string shapes encaged. C is 3 4 5, A is 5 6, G is 6 7 root, E is 7 root 2, and D is 2 3 4, which connects to C 3 4 5 again. So we wanted to use a major scale. So the dot scales, the dot that you use, what dot? Well, this dot, let's say a dot on the perfect, this is the perfect third, minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth. Let's say the dot on the perfect fourth. The dot scale would be 2 whole steps down. That's a minor third, and then another whole step down would be, well, essentially it would be depending on what key you're in. If the fourth is an A, then the dot scale would be a C sharp scale or a D flat scale. So let's look at E. We have E. It's a root dot. You know, it's probably easier to look at another dot scale, because E is like either octave or it's the fret nut. But let's look at E, because the dot scale for E is the C scale. I notice I didn't say key of C, because the dot scale, this is what I thought up, and I just lucked out by trying the third, trying 2 whole steps down. It has nothing to do with my guitar is tuned 2 whole steps down. That's not what it's about. It's just about that when you have an E note and you take a start on a scale that's 2 whole steps down, that E is part of that scale, every member of that scale. So third of C, second of D, root of E, seventh of F, sixth of G, fifth of A, fourth of B, and the third of C again. So remember, I didn't say this was the key of C. I said this is the C dot scale. So it's the third of C, it's the second of D, etc. The root of E, this arc pertains to this E here. I lined these up, by the way, don't panic. And the seventh of F would be that C. There's the dot, okay, the dot scale rather. The dot itself is over here, okay. So we go all the way up the line, and this is 7 scales. So looking at that E dot, we can look at it as all these different things. So let's just look at it as itself. It's the root. Okay, so I'm gonna work with the E dot here on my pick. I'm gonna work with the E dot here. Okay, now remember, it's down tuned a little bit, so it's not going to be the exact same pitch that your guitar is on. But you take the E dot, and this would be the root of the root. E becomes the root of the E scale. So remember, this isn't a scale. This is a dot scale. These are keys. This is so the E dot would be the third of the key of C. Okay. So yeah, it's the root of the key of E. You know, you can play your root there. You can start a root pattern, say a long pattern. Root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root. Okay,